What if your insomnia starts at 7 a.m.? Most people think sleep begins when the lights go off. But what if your sleeplessness started when your alarm went off? What if the way you opened your eyes, picked up your phone, filled your chest with anxiety before your feet even hit the floor, was actually the first signal that told your nervous system, today is not safe? What if your insomnia didn't begin at 10 p.m., but 15 hours earlier? This is the part no one talks about. That morning stress is evening sabotage. That how you enter the day is how your body prepares to exit it. And if your nervous system starts the day in panic, it's going to carry that charge all the way into the night. The cortisol awakening response. Why the morning sets the tone. Every morning, your body performs a miracle. About 30 to 45 minutes after waking, your brain triggers a natural surge in cortisol, the hormone that helps you feel alert, focused, ready to move. This is called the cortisol awakening response. It's not bad. In fact, it's a beautiful, necessary rhythm. It's how your body says, we're up now, let's go. But like all hormones, cortisol has context. And when that natural spike meets emotional chaos, emails, notifications, news, tension, noise, the body doesn't just wake up. It jolts, it braces, it overcompensates. And instead of feeling ready, you feel rushed. Instead of feeling alert, you feel anxious. This is how a normal rhythm becomes a dysregulated one. The cortisol awakening response was designed to work with your environment. Gentle light, a few minutes of movement, gradual stimulation. But in modern life, we give it flashing screens, to-do lists, bad headlines, and emotional demands, all within minutes of waking. And the nervous system doesn't know the difference between urgency and danger. So it starts the day not in rhythm, but in reaction. And when cortisol stays high throughout the morning and never really has a chance to level off, it doesn't just disappear when the sun goes down. It lingers. It interferes with melatonin. It keeps the body in a state of low-grade vigilance. And that right there is what robs you of deep rest. Because sleep isn't just about being tired. It's about being willing to let go. And a nervous system that's been holding on since sunrise doesn't know how to release at sunset. In the next part, we'll explore the modern trap that keeps so many people in this cycle, the habit of waking up reactive, what it looks like, how it feels, and why it's slowly training your body to see every day and every night as a threat. The problem with waking up reactive. You wake up, and before your eyes have even adjusted to the light, your hand reaches for the phone. It's automatic, muscle memory, a habit so ingrained it doesn't even feel like a choice anymore. Just a swipe, a scroll, a flood of input before your body has even found its breath. And suddenly you're not waking up, you're catching up with the world, with news, with other people's needs, with expectations you didn't even know were waiting for you. This is what it means to wake up reactive. It seems harmless, just a quick check, just 5 minutes. But your nervous system doesn't clock time. It reads signals. And when the first signal it receives is urgency, stimulation, comparison, decision-making, your body doesn't ease into the day. It braces for it. You may still be in bed, but your brain is already sprinting. Emails, notifications, headlines, likes, DMs, weather, work, expectations. The moment you engage, you trigger a cascade, mentally, hormonally, emotionally. Your heart rate rises, your breath tightens, your sense of being behind kicks in, even when nothing is technically wrong. And that becomes the baseline for your day. You rush through your morning, even when there's no rush. You skip breakfast, not because you don't want it, but because your mind is already somewhere else. You feel behind on things you haven't even started yet. You look calm on the outside, but inside, there's a quiet pressure that never fully lets go. This is not your fault. You were never taught how to protect your mornings. You were taught to be productive, responsive, plugged in, but no one told you that your nervous system needs a moment to land, to calibrate, to decide, is this a day where I need to fight, or is this a day I'm allowed to just be? The more you wake up reactive, the more your body forgets how to begin gently, and over time, you start to lose your natural rhythm. Not just in the morning, but across the whole day. Your alertness feels forced, your focus feels fragile, and by the time night comes, your system is so used to being on that it doesn't know how to turn off. That's why sleep becomes something you chase, instead of something that comes naturally. But there's another way, and in the next part, we'll begin to uncover what that looks like. A slow, intentional relearning of how to begin your day from the inside out, and how that gentle beginning becomes the foundation for real, deep, healing rest. Because you don't need a longer morning routine. You need a quieter one. Why calm mornings lead to deeper sleep. A calm morning isn't just a luxury. It's a message to your body, to your nervous system, to every part of you that's been conditioned to expect chaos. When you begin your day softly, without urgency, without overstimulation, without reacting to the world before you've even returned to yourself, you create space. Space for the body to regulate. Space for the mind to orient. Space for the heart to remember that it doesn't need to rush to be worthy. And that space, it stays with you. You carry it. You carry it, whether you notice it or not. Through conversations, traffic, screens, decisions, noise, that early nervous system imprint becomes a buffer, a gentle layer of protection that holds you steady through the rest of the day. But when your morning begins in panic, distraction, or pressure, your system never gets that chance. It never settles. It stays in a low hum of vigilance, not full-blown anxiety, just a subtle sense of being late, behind, too much, not enough, all day long. And here's the part most people miss. The nervous system doesn't shut off just because the sun goes down. It remembers how the day started. It remembers how much it had to hold. So when night comes, your body doesn't automatically feel ready to rest. Even if you're physically tired, your internal signals are still stuck in go. And that tension, that residue, becomes the barrier between you and real, restorative sleep. But when the day begins calmly, with presence, intention, rhythm, your system learns that it's safe to slow down. And when slowing down feels safe, sleep becomes natural. You don't have to fight for it. You fall into it. That's why some of the deepest rest begins long before bedtime. It begins with the first light of morning, the first sound you hear, the first breath you take before reaching for anything else. Because those first few minutes are not just the start of the day, they're the setup for the whole cycle. In the next part, we'll get practical. What does this actually look like? What can you do in the first 30 minutes of your day to support your nervous system, your energy, and, yes, your sleep? Because healing begins with how you wake. Nervous system anchoring practices for the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes after you wake up are not just a transition from sleep to wakefulness. They're a doorway. A soft edge between your dreaming world and your doing world. And how you move through that doorway shapes everything that follows, not just your focus, but your mood, your breath, your ability to regulate, and yes, your ability to rest again when the day is done. You don't need a complicated morning routine. You don't need an hour of yoga or 10 steps of biohacking. What you need is anchoring, small, repeatable signals that tell your nervous system, we're safe, we're here, we can begin gently. Here's what that can look like. First, light. Before you open an app, open your eyes to the real world. Let in natural light if you can. Step outside, even for a minute. If it's still dark, use a warm-toned lamp instead of overhead lighting. This simple signal tells your brain it's morning, not in a jarring way, but in alignment with nature. It helps reset your circadian rhythm without triggering a stress spike. Second, no screens. Not forever, just for the first 20 to 30 minutes. Give your mind time to wake up with you, not with the demands of a digital world. Let your thoughts be yours before you start responding to everyone else's. If you feel the urge to check something, breathe instead. Which brings us to third, one conscious breath. Not a meditation, not a ritual, just one slow inhale, one slow exhale. Let it be enough. Place a hand on your chest or belly if it helps. Feel your presence arrive in your body. That breath becomes an anchor, a signal. I'm here, I made it to this morning. Fourth, gentle movement. Not to sweat, to wake. Maybe you stretch your arms overhead, maybe you roll your shoulders, maybe you sway. Movement tells your system, we are alive and we are not in danger. It opens space in your joints and in your mind. You're not rushing out of bed, you're arriving into your body. Fifth, one intentional phrase. This doesn't have to be profound, it just has to be true. Something like, this day does not own me, or I can begin softly, or even, I'm allowed to go slow. Say it out loud or whisper it in your mind. Let it mark the start of your rhythm, not the world's. These practices aren't tasks, they're invitations. You don't have to do all of them. One is enough, and what matters most is repetition. Because repetition builds rhythm, and rhythm tells the body, this is familiar, this is safe, you don't have to brace. And that safety, it follows you into your meetings, your meals, your conversations, your rest. In the next part, we'll explore one of the biggest causes of morning stress, our relationship with time, and how shifting that relationship can transform your day from a race into a rhythm that's actually livable. Because peace isn't just a feeling, it's a pace. Rethinking your relationship with time. Most of us don't wake up late. We wake up feeling behind. Before the day has even begun, there's already a race. Against the clock, against the to-do list, against the invisible standard of enough. And this race doesn't start with traffic or deadlines or even your phone. It starts in your nervous system. A deep, silent belief. There isn't time. And so you rush. Not always in your actions, but in your energy. You brush your teeth fast, eat while standing, scroll while dressing. You check the time every 5 minutes, not because you're late, but because you feel late. Constantly, chronically, quietly. This is what it means to have a stressed relationship with time. It's not about the number on the clock, it's about the pressure in your chest. And here's what's wild. Even on days when there's no reason to rush, the feeling doesn't go away. Because it's not based on your schedule. It's based on your story. The one you've been telling yourself for years. That time is a threat, that you have to beat it, that you can't slow down or you'll fall behind. But what if that's not true? What if the clock isn't your enemy, but your mirror? Reflecting back the pace you think you're supposed to live at. The one that was modeled for you. The one that was demanded of you. The one that says, you're only safe when you're moving fast. This belief shows up everywhere. especially in the morning. It turns waking up into a performance. It turns your first breath into a countdown. It hijacks the stillness that sleep tried to give you and replaces it with urgency before you've even remembered your own name. And over time, this shapes your sleep, because the body that never feels like it can catch up will never feel safe enough to fully let go. But here's the truth. You don't have to fix your whole life to slow down. You just have to challenge the belief that says you're not allowed to. Even in 5-minute pockets, even in how you put on your shoes, even in how you drink your coffee, sitting down without a screen, letting time expand just for a moment, because safety doesn't always come from more time. It comes from changing how you hold time. In the next part, we'll talk about how to give your mornings back to yourself. Not by doing less, but by signaling safety more. Because the real shift isn't in what you remove, it's in what your nervous system recognizes as peaceful. And peace is a signal you can send over and over again. Replacing morning chaos with safety signals. You don't have to live in a cabin in the woods to feel calm in the morning. You don't need to quit your job or have a 2-hour morning routine or wait until the kids are older. What you need are signals. Small, consistent cues that tell your nervous system you're not under threat. You don't have to rush. You're allowed to be here. Because chaos isn't always loud. It's the feeling that everything must happen at once. And safety, in contrast, is not the absence of noise. It's the presence of rhythm. So instead of trying to eliminate all the stress from your morning, start by layering in signals of safety. Here's what that can look like, even in a busy, modern, unpredictable life. It might be a soft sound to start your day, not a blaring alarm, but something neutral or gentle. Chimes, ambient music, even your own breath. Let the first thing your ears register be something that doesn't jolt your system. That tells your body, we're not waking into danger. It might be a grounding touch, your feet on the floor, your hand on your chest, running warm water over your fingers, a real hug, physical contact that reminds your system, I have a body, I'm here, I'm safe. It might be predictability in one small ritual, not a full routine, just a single repeated act. Stirring your coffee slowly, lighting the same candle, opening a window at the same time. These become anchors. The more often you return to them, the more your body begins to associate them with calm, like muscle memory, but for your peace. It might be moving more slowly through just one task, brushing your teeth with intention, getting dressed without rushing, sitting while tying your shoes. You don't need to slow down your whole life. Just send one signal that says this doesn't have to be frantic. And maybe most importantly, it's language. Not the kind you speak out loud, but the tone you carry in your own head. Instead of, I'm late, I'm behind, I should already. Try, I'm here, I'm beginning. That's enough. Your nervous system listens to the tone of your thoughts more than you realize. These are not fixes, they're cues. And the more often you send them, the more familiar they become. The more familiar they become, the more effective they are. And one day, without even noticing, you'll wake up and realize the day doesn't own me anymore. And when the day no longer owns your nervous system, night becomes a place where rest is no longer earned. It's natural. In the next part, we'll tie it all together. Because this isn't just about the morning. It's about the full arc of your day. The story you're telling your body from sunrise all the way to surrender. Because every moment of regulation is a seed, and sleep is the fruit. The whole day is a setup for sleep. Sleep doesn't begin at bedtime. It begins the moment you decide how to be in your body today. Every breath you rushed, every emotion you swallowed, every yes you gave when you meant no, it stays with you. Your nervous system remembers. It carries the echoes of how you moved through your day, how you responded to pressure, how you treated your needs, how safe or unsafe you felt, even in the smallest moments. And by the time your head touches the pillow, your body is not starting a new chapter. It's closing the one you've been writing since you opened your eyes. That's why deep rest doesn't come from sleep alone. It comes from rhythm. And your rhythm is shaped by 1,000 tiny decisions. Not perfect ones, not optimized ones, just aware ones. The way you pause before reacting, the way you ground before speaking, the way you give yourself 5 quiet seconds before reaching for something, anything, to distract. These moments matter. They may feel small, but they are cumulative, like drops filling a glass. And when your day is filled with safety cues, with softness, with slowness, even in the tiniest amounts, your nervous system doesn't need to crash at night. It's been unwinding all along. So if you've been wondering why sleep feels like a battle, ask yourself, how have I been living while I was awake? Because sleep is not a switch you flip. It's a surrender you earn, not through effort, but through how gently you've taught your body to trust the day. This is not about guilt. It's about noticing how you begin, how you move, how you end, and slowly, lovingly, choosing to thread your day with signals that say, I am not in danger. I do not have to perform. I am allowed to rest, not because I did enough, but because I am enough. Your body is always listening, and when it hears that, it finally knows it can let go. In the final part, we'll return to where we started, not with information, but with a breath, a soft closing, a reminder that sleep isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of something holy, a morning that prepares you for peace. Sleep is not the final chapter. It's the reflection of how your story was told. And your morning, that first paragraph you write the moment your eyes open, it sets the tone. It sets the pace. It teaches your nervous system what kind of day it's about to walk into. One of urgency or one of trust. You don't need to control the whole day. You just need to begin it with dignity. Not perfection. Not silence, just a little more presence. Just one gentle no to the noise. One breath before the phone. One moment with yourself before the world asks anything of you. That's all it takes to shift the rhythm. That's all it takes to create a foundation where sleep, real, deep, unearned rest becomes possible. Because when the body wakes gently, it learns that slowness is safe. And when slowness is safe, sleep comes back. You don't need to chase calm. You just need to stop teaching your body that stimulation is the only way to survive. Let the day begin softly, so the night can end in peace. If today's episode helped you see your morning in a new way, I hope you take one thing with you tomorrow. Just one. Not a checklist, not a task, but a moment of softness, something that reminds your body it's not in danger, because that's how you change your sleep. You start with how you wake. If you haven't already, hit follow or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. In it, we're going to dive into one of the most overlooked causes of sleep disruption. How your thoughts start racing the moment your head hits the pillow. And what to do when your mind won't turn off. And if you know someone who starts every morning on edge, who opens their eyes and already feels behind, send this their way. Not because they need advice, but because they deserve a different rhythm. Lastly, I'd love to hear from you. What's one signal of safety you want to send yourself tomorrow morning? Leave a comment, share your rhythm, and let's grow this slow revolution together. You are not behind, you are not broken, you're just overstimulated in a world that forgot how to pause. But you can remember, and it starts, not tonight, but tomorrow morning. Until next time, be gentle and sleep true.